Welcome to ABAPexperts.com. In this short demo, I'm going to show you how to move a transport request from a development box to an acceptance box using Transport Center, or shortly called Trace. Now, in order to do so, I did create a transport request up front, which we will now be moving in between two boxes. Now, if we have a look at the transport request, you would see it only contains a dummy ABAP object. Now, we're going to release the task, and immediately after, I'm releasing the main transport request. Now, here we get a pop-up. This is also the very first interaction with Transport Center. Trace will request us to create a transport form. Now, a transport form is a document that will complement the transport request. We can see that we're trying to move transport request ending on 486, and we're moving it from our development box into our acceptance box. Now, you could also see that the landscape is automatically defaulted. Now, Trace itself is able to monitor and administer transport requests across multiple landscapes with just one central instance. Now, it's not within the scope of this short demo to explain each and every single attribute that we have on a transport form, but it is worth mentioning that you can create your own attributes and you can make certain attributes optional or either obligatory. You can even attach documents to a transport form. Now, just for the ease and the speed of the demo, I'm going to make use of a reference transport, so I'm just going to copy all the attributes and I'm going to save my transport form. And the saving was already completed. Now, the tool is actually equipped with a lot of mechanisms in order to prevent overtakers, in order to prevent accidental downgrade of programs. It will identify missing objects, etc. So it's quite extensive. The engine set behind dump prediction, we call it. Now, we've just created our transport request, and that immediately brings us into the central cockpit of Transport Center. Now, here on the left side, we see a number of landscapes, we can see a number of projects. We also have a user-specific view where you can define your own specific rules. We're going to have a look at the approval workflow. Now, keep in mind, this is a demo environment, so we do see an enormous number of transports here. So I'm just going to put a local filter. I only want to see the transports which are being used for the video recording, and here we go. This is the transport that we've just created. Now, if I double click on it, I could see the transport is not yet approved. Going into the approval tab, we can see that we need actually two approvals. We need to have an approval from the transport owner, but also from the person performing the QA or the gateway keeper. Now, again, since this is a test environment, I actually have the authorization to approve both levels. So I could go in and just say overrule all the approvals, and I'm going to save the approval. And in here we have the option to immediately trigger the import into the target system. We also, depending upon the config of your environment, we could also have the transport being added into a queue, and we can have then the transport flow with the next batch run. So we can have daily transports, weekly, or even release transports. And we're going to trigger the import immediately. Now, here we go. So the transport at the moment is being moved. Now, as soon as the transport request is also physically moved, then we will also have a look at the results. We're going to use a slightly different menu entry for that. Now, typically, we would follow the flow from the approval workflow into the transport queue and then eventually into the import history. I go into the transport tab, and here I can see that my transport actually was moved successfully, return code 0. All the rest of these nice features like dump prediction, etc., I think it would fall out of the scope of this short recording. Maybe the only thing I would like to mention is that we do have a backup functionality. So in case this specific transport would have caused damage on the target system, there is actually also a way in order to restore the damage being done. So that's one of the key features as well of Transport Center. Now, I hope I was able to, in a very short recording, to awake your interest in checking out more about Transport Center. So definitely, in case you do have interest, please do not hesitate contacting us. Thank you for listening.